Loudly.
Say it again.
Talking loudly.
Say it again.
Yes.
There's no reason for you to say it again. I just wanted to hear.
Yeah,
Okay.
now maybe I'll put that in as a blooper at the end.
Okay, put it in as a blooper at the end.
Talking loudly. Go for it.
Seinfeld bloopers are better than our bloopers.
Yeah, I know. We don't really have bloopers.
Yeah, everything we do is perfect.
No, we don't really add anything to the beginning or the end. I'm including this part though.
Yeah, this is banter. People like banter.
Banter.
All right, say we're live or hello. Wait, no, we got to start with a movie reference.
No, you got to say hello first.
Hello,
okay.
Everybody in YouTube land.
Hi there. Welcome.
I don't think we needed to do that. I think we could have skipped that.
Okay.
Okay, so I got a movie reference. You ready? Because you have to do most of it. I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Ethan, what is best in life? Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
I'm trying to remember to conquer your enemies, to hear to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of their women.
Yes!
Yes.
You did it right. To conquer your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of the women. Of their women. You did it right. Good job.
Yes.
Okay.
Conan,
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sandal Bergman, Darth Vader.
Who's
James Earl Jones.
Yes, James Earl Jones, who's recently passed as of this video.
Yeah. And who's the guy? The king. In that movie.
Yes.
Is named King OSRIC.
Really?
Yep.
That's funny.
Yep. Wait. Yep. The king in that movie is named King OSRIC, the one who throws a bunch of gems at them and needs his MacGuffin daughter to be rescued.
Yes.
Yeah. That would be weird if your daughter was a MacGuffin. Okay. Okay. That's our movie reference. Conan. Gary Gygax did not like that movie.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote about it like at the time in some magazine column and like in a review in a magazine column, and then he also wrote years later on a message board. He was doing Q&A where he like went online, he was answering people's questions, and he said there too he didn't like the Conan movie, but I think the soundtrack is perfect for D&D. It inspires me to pick up an axe and go adventure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
In an imaginary way, not in real life.
Or in real life.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd get arrested inside of 5 minutes if I did that. Yeah. So yeah, he didn't like it. He did like the Harry Potter movie.
Really?
Yep, he loved the Harry Potter movie. Like I guess like this idea of a magical world that's hiding beneath our mundane world that nobody knows about. And I mean,
I think it's cool. It's a cool movie.
It is good. Yeah, I don't know if he read the book, but he did write online that he liked the Harry Potter movie.
Which one? I think they made like 12 of them.
The first one, because I don't know if he passed away in March of 2008, so I don't know that he saw any others. I don't know
when they came out. So
it was the first one. He liked it.
Yeah, cool.
Harry Potter, but he didn't like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Conan movie, which is weird to me because there's like a party who goes on a hex crawl. They attack and they steal from a cult in a tower. There's a good soundtrack. But I guess he just didn't feel that it was true enough to the original Robert E. Howard stories. Yeah. It always surprised me that he didn't like it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so agenda for today.
Yeah.
Talk briefly about world building. But we want to get into characters.
Yeah.
So we'll do a little bit of world building talk and then we'll do quick shout outs and then characters.
Sure. Yeah. That works.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, so a little bit of world building talk. Where were we? Oh, okay. So I had a thought, and I haven't shared with you because I saved it for the camera.
Okay.
There is a really cool mining town in here. If this road keeps going north,
it could lead to a mining town up. Yeah.
In the mountains. And so if this road, but here's the other thing. If I keep saying that, here's the other thing. I'm trying to stop saying that because I noticed in these videos I keep saying, here's the thing. But it is a thing.
There are things. Yeah.
There are things, and then we're talking about them. So, and I keep saying so, like I'm a millennial girl or something. So
like
in
the desert, like it's kind of cool. Like,
oh, I could do Valley Girl. I could be like, this is gnarly. No, that's not Valley Girl. That's Spicoli from Fast Times. Okay. Sorry, I can't do Valley Girl. I grew up listening to Valley Girls though. Like fake Valley Girls, because it was in like Kansas.
Valley Girls in the Midwest.
Yeah, it was so they were like picking up the accent from watching MTV or something. It was so annoying. Okay. What the heck are we talking about? Oh yeah. If we do, and we want to, we're hoping, as we develop, as we hex crawl, we're hoping to find other settlements because our starting town sucks. Oh, okay. Yeah. So if we do find another settlement, though, we've already put our road down.
That's true.
So then we'll have to draw another road. We're gonna have to figure this out as we go, but we're not gonna figure it out right now.
Yeah.
It's just food for thought.
Okay.
I mean, there are problems to how we're doing this. There's probably somebody who has a book, like how to hex crawl, or a blog that says how to hex crawl, and it's like got all these problems that we're stumbling our way through.
But the problem I think we're having is that, you know, a DM would come up with this prior. Right. And he would just tell the players what they're
going through. The players would never see this process.
Yeah.
True. And I wouldn't roll either. I would just go, okay, well, here's the town. And I would just draw it. I would make it up. I wouldn't look for tables to how to make a town.
Well, but when you're playing, when you're also the character, you kind of want some of that randomness. You don't want to be making the world you're going into. Right.
But as a DM, I could do that.
Yeah.
As a DM, I could say, okay, it makes sense for this town to have 2 chandlers because we're going to put some beekeepers in the town. There's a lot of wax, and so they've got some people that are making candles out of the wax.
Sure.
And I could just make that up. But here what we're doing is we're trying to find a system where we can create it without metagaming to the point of just making stuff up. Because we're trying to do like a solo style game.
Yeah.
So far we've had mixed results with that. But one thing we didn't do, and I think if we roll another settlement, there is a 2-page village generator in here. I'd like to try.
Okay.
Not now, but I'd like to try.
Okay.
I'm not gonna look it up right now.
Okay.
This is great. Offending people, befriending people, marriage proposals. Living with no money. I love it. This is investment, seeking employment, gambling, savings, random events. Like, this is a good book. We'll come back to it, I hope. And hopefully we'll come back to this. If this road goes up into the mountains, then we'll use... I don't know that I want to find it right now. We'll use... Where is it? The mining town. Because it just looks cool. The map of it looks cool. The description sounds cool. That's of course, it's the last one in the book. That makes sense. Gold Crest. Cool artwork. A mining camp by Russell Young.
Yes. Yeah, we took a look at this before, didn't we? Yeah.
It looks kind of like Deadwood. It's like steep hillsides, and it's in a valley.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks cool. Like if that road goes up to the mountains, I'd like to use this. Just stick it in there.
Yeah.
Like with even if we don't roll,
we'll have to place a. Well, never mind.
Oh, another thing.
Yeah.
So I've got. Okay, we know that this dungeon here is this, and that's where we wanted to start. I've got some expansions to this, some PDFs. Not the original copies because they're very expensive and out of print. Of some expansions to this. So that might inform some of this terrain up here, but any terrain that isn't informed by a canned adventure we're using, that's when we'll turn to rolling stuff randomly.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. And then I dug a little more in my collection, and I found another copy of Village Book 1, but I haven't looked at it yet. It's a completely different cover. Ooh, it's not in good shape. It's been written in this is 1978. So I'm thinking the one we've been looking at is the original printing.
Okay.
I don't know, because this looks older to me.
Yeah.
Let's turn to page 44 and see if it's the same map. And this one is not in as good a shape. Somebody has colored parts in with a pencil.
Looks like all the rivers they've colored in.
Yeah, this is one of those things I accidentally bought 2 copies of. Is this the same? Yeah, it's the same map, same town.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they've colored in the
water.
The water with pencil.
Yeah.
Whoever the original owner was. Okay. Setting that aside. But I think I should open this real quick. Just take a peek.
Yeah, Village Book 2.
Yeah. I have this. And we're not going to use it right now. I love the artwork on the cover. You got a beggar in an alley. You got a dog. Oh, the guy's like got a
crutch or something.
He's got a crutch. So
he's got his foot wrapped up there.
Yeah, he's disabled or injured. Something.
Yeah. Is he an eye patch? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it looks like an eye patch.
Wow.
This is stained, but hey, it's really old. What do you want? Uh-oh, it's Robert Lee's book. Robert Lee, you got a stain on your book, or somebody did. Robert Lee, if you're looking for your book, we have it.
Civil War General.
You cannot have it back.
The Civil War General
Robert E. Lee.
He owned this book.
That's so cool. Oh, that's a Paul J.K.'s artwork. So cool. And okay. I just want to peek and see if I want to see if the tables are different. Oh, coats of arms.
Display of coats of arms.
The shield, the field, the principal charges, table 1. So this lets you roll up. Oh, cool. So Village Book 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's got tables so that you can generate armor or heraldry. Some people call it heraldry. I think properly it's called armor. The symbol that nobility used, it's called their armor, but it's not plate mail or chain mail. It's a symbol.
I understand.
But so we'll just call it heraldry. Okay. So it's got all these tables. You follow the tables, and at the end of the tables, you should have some unique heraldry. But there's a lot of in heraldry. I didn't intend to talk about this today. In heraldry, there's a lot of unique terminology. Like this is dormant, this is cooped, this is trippant. So if somebody says, yeah, it's blah, 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 trippant, then it looks like this. It's a lot of unique terminology. Quarterly for perpale, potente, tierced, dovetailed, nebulae, wavy, indented, all the different patterns that it can be in. Oh, it's still going. Hang on. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is for heraldic helmets. 8, and the ornaments that would be on them.
Yeah.
So you can roll up like a duke's helmet, the ceremonial helmet.
Cool.
9. The cape line worn upon a helmet. Oh, so this doesn't have any village generating stuff at all. It's all...
Well, it says subsystem on the front, right? Subsystem.
It's
to go along with the system.
The campaign, they had this campaign hexagon subsystem. Okay.
Well, so that says system. Oh, no, it says subsystem. Okay,
Same thing.
Never mind.
Exact
Cool.
same
Okay.
thing.
Got it.
Judges Guild made up this thing they called the campaign hexagon subsystem.
Okay, I understand.
And there's probably multiple products. Actually, they're maps of their world called the Wilderlands, their campaign setting. It uses their subsystem. So going back to that, we had somebody, and we'll get to it, we had somebody tell us that these are 5-mile hexes, and each one of these hexes is 0.2 miles. And that math works. The problem is, bring that over.
Yeah, okay.
It creates a really big problem with all of these maps. So the problem is each one of these hexes would have to be 352 yards. And if each hex is 352 yards, there's a building here that's over 700 yards long. That's not viable. If every one of those little hexes, I don't know if the camera can see it. And there's a shadow from somewhere.
There's a kind of a glare-ish, it looks
on
like.
the paper?
Yeah, it's probably better just putting it down. Yeah.
So this long building that we're considering an inn would be 700 yards long. So he's probably correct. Their system is probably 5-mile hexes with 0.2 mile hexes inside. That adds up. There's 25 hexes across.
Mm-hmm.
The math works. But that means...
each hex is 352 yards.
Yeah. You could fit 3 football stadiums in each one of these little tiny hexes. So that means that this little tiny square building, or what it looks like, that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It means that the road is like...
It's like
is 180 yards across? The road would have to be 180 yards wide. It doesn't make sense if this is a 5-mile hex.
Yeah.
The road is not 180 yards wide. It's just not. So this is a great 5-mile hex, except why are the buildings 700 yards long? And it doesn't look like an arena of any kind. It's a rectangular square with one obvious door on the front. It can't... That building can't be 700 yards long. It just can't.
Yeah.
Even if it was a modern warehouse, it would I can't imagine it would be 700 yards long. That's enormous. Right?
Yeah.
We don't know what to do. We're going to leave it alone for now and move on. Yes?
Yeah, I guess so.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't come up with any idea of what to do here.
Yeah. And if this is a 5-mile...
What if we tried a fifth of a hex? Or, a fifth of a mile instead of quarter mile.
If this was a fifth of a mile.
Yeah.
Oh,
so we tried quarter mile.
Yeah, so
we tried half a mile.
Right. So we did the math to see, okay, if this is a half a mile, then it would be 880 yards. And each hex would be 35.2 yards.
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
That means that it actually works best if this is a half mile, because that means that instead of 10 feet, this building is 10 yards, and that makes more sense, really.
Yeah.
It beefs up the building a little bit.
No, that wouldn't be 10 yards. If
it's a 35...
that'd be like 20 yards.
I think we're seeing that as
depth.
Okay. Still makes more sense than 10 by 10 feet.
Okay.
To me. But so if this is a half-mile hex, I think that makes more sense. But having each hex, that means that each hex would be 35.2 yards. It's an oddball. Like I want whole numbers.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want whole numbers. I don't want each one of these little hexes to be something 0.2 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I want whole numbers. And then I looked at it. If it's a 1/4 mile hex, then that's 440 yards. Okay, from here to here, 440 yards. That's
17.6 for each hex.
2, 3, 4. That's kind of reasonable.
Yeah. 17.6 yards for each hex.
Each hex is 17.6 yards, but then...
Which would work, but you have that odd. You've got that...
You got that
fraction of the number
17.6.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we would need to reevaluate the size of these buildings. Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's move on. Okay, we're going to move on from that for now because we haven't quite figured it out. We've been talking about it and we have not come to a conclusion. Okay, so I also found... I've got a copy of the Campaign Hexagon subsystem that's better than my other copy. Oh, no, that's not what this is. This is Island Book 1. It's a book. We're not going to use it right now because we're deadlocked, but it's maps and maps and maps of islands.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Maps and maps of islands, and I don't know what's in the front. What's all this? Oh, they give you blank pages so you can record the details for each island.
Yeah.
And... let's see what the tables say. Intended to fill the needs, blah, blah, blah. Flexible approach. Some anomalies may occur. It's the same thing. Island size. Okay, so your island type, island size, volcanic, mountainous, hilly, stream, feature, mineral resource, dominant creature. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Elevation, sounds. Island sounds. Deathly silent. Cawing, clipping, crunching, whistling, moaning, wailing, screaming, trilling. What's trilling? Okay. Slurping, walking, howling. Okay, there's a table of random sounds that you can hear on an island. Dominant creature, giant water bug, giant octopus, giant crabs, giant sea turtle, a nymph, a sea hag, a black dragon. Cool. Game. You can roll for the game on the island. Goats, hares, ducks, parrots, pigeons. Pythons. Warthogs.
Yeah. Raccoon, dog,
tortoise. Non-potable water.
Ooh.
Oh, these are the diseases you get if you drink the water on the island. Protruding eyes, yellow fever, dysentery. Okay.
Blindness, lose hearing.
Lose your hearing, sleep, dehydrate.
Poison.
4 classes of poison. Oh my gosh. Mysterious finds. This is cool. If you wanted to make like some kind of treasure island type.
Do all of them have buildings, or are some of them?
No, I don't think so.
Buildingless.
Like these have buildings. Yeah. I thought I saw some that didn't. Like this doesn't.
One doesn't. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
But they could also be like ruins. This one doesn't.
Yeah. Cool.
This one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. There could be ruins. This could be a tropical island. It could be an island like up in the Faroes, like a cold, rocky island.
Yeah.
It could be anything. A garrison. Is it a naval station? A merchant trading post? This is cool.
Cool.
So if we go to sea and we roll up a little island, boom.
All right.
I got this thing.
Yeah.
We're far from going to sea. Oh, I was going to open this too. I showed it off.
Yeah.
I showed it off a couple sessions ago, but I never opened it. I love the artwork, man. Bill Willingham. It's a bunch of adventurers, and they're looking at a hex map with like D&D hex map symbols on it.
That's funny.
I love it. And I love, like, he always draws these weird boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was into drawing these big weird boots on people. Yeah, so good. Good artwork. All right, I'm cracking it open. You okay?
Yeah.
128 pages. Yeah, there's nothing in here. It's just...
It's blank.
It's just, yeah. It's not useful for us. I mean, I could scan it and use it. But, and they're all the same size hexes? They're all the same size hexes. There's no, even the back page is a hex. Mm-hmm. So you could just scan this and print it off and have hexes forever. But it says nothing. It's just blank hexes. It doesn't say 128 pages, 7 32-inch hex paper, 7 by 32-inch hex paper printed both sides, usable for games and game campaigns, used for any number of purposes, mapping during play, movement plotting, and record keeping. And this is just a catalog of other products. It's nothing. It's literally nothing. Does it say 1980 from 1980? From 1980, it's not. Okay, so that's not going to help us at all. That's going back on the shelf. It's going back in the bag. That is back in the bag. That's gone over here. It's going to go back on the shelf. Okay. And I brought these out. I'm going to put them back on the shelf. But I brought them out because I thought they'd be interesting. Maybe at some point we'll use them. I don't know. Monster and Treasure Assortment. Levels 1 through 9. So if you're in a dungeon, we won't use this because this is for original D&D. What's the year on it? 1977. So this maybe is for Holmes D&D probably. Copyright 7780. This is a 1980 printing of a 77 product. It's probably intended for Holmes basic D&D. Which used 5 alignments. It's this weird thing, like
interesting.
Basic original D&D and basic D&D is always 3 alignments, except for Holmes uses 5 alignments. It's weird. And then for AD&D you get into 9 alignments. So it's so 70. So this is before the Dungeon Master's Guide came out. This is how to randomly roll monsters on levels 1 through 9 of a dungeon. And this is a system, dungeongeomorphs, to let you create dungeons. I don't think we'll use it, but it would be interesting.
It would be, yeah.
Like we rolled up a dungeon entrance in the basement of one of the buildings in the town.
Yeah.
It would be kind of fun to break these out and build a dungeon using these products.
Yeah.
I don't know if we will, so I'm going to put them back on the shelf for now, I think. But that's an option. It'd just be interesting to see what results come up. And these are for basic D&D, so they wouldn't. They need a little conversion to AD&D, but again, that's easy to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on world building?
I do not think so.
Anything you can think of. This will go in the pile back on the shelf. Don't need that anymore. Okay. So let's do. So the really meaty part is going to be getting into. The really meaty part is going to be getting into characters, because that's when we're really getting into game rules. That's when we're really going to be. One of the things I noticed. Oh, I got to go grab something out of my room. One of the things I noticed when I was rolling up a stable of characters, that it's a great way to learn the game. Yeah. Like you just...
because you're reading all the descriptions, you're going in depth, trying to figure stuff out. Yeah.
You get a sense of how encumbrance of movement works. You get a sense of how combat works by... like dexterity affects your ranged attacks, and strength affects your melee attacks. You get a feeling for how charisma works and how henchmen and hirelings work. If you read while you're making characters, you just get a feeling. You get a feeling for power levels. Like when you're rolling up that magic user and you're rolling a D4 for your hit points, you know that you're pretty weak. Like you don't need anything else to tell you that you're pretty weak.
Yeah. Plus you've got a ridiculous AC and you can't wear armor.
It's a great way.
It works.
it's a great way to learn the game. It's just to roll up a ton of characters, which is what I did, and we'll come back to it. We'll talk about it later. But the scary thing is we're going to get into some rules.
Yeah.
And then we're going to post this on the internet. And people on the internet like to fight about rules.
Yeah.
They like to argue about, oh, you're not doing it right, or you're not doing the rules as written.
Before we get into it,
Yeah.
I have a preface, but
So wait.
Yeah.
Should I shut up?
No, that's when we get into the
You have a preface to talking
that
about
section of the video.
To talking about rules or talking about characters?
The whole thing. Just
okay.
When we get to it.
Okay. Let's do commenter feedback, and then we'll get into the meat of this session, which is characters, because this is. I really want to get into it. We're going to get into the weeds. I want to get into the weeds of how we rolled up characters, what resources we used. Let's go. Okay, so commenter feedback. What do we got?
All right, so this is from the first video. Still getting views and comments. Thank you guys. Brian R said, "Love this video."
Thanks, Brian R. Appreciate you.
Yeah. That's the only recent one on there. Let's check. Episode 2.
Talk a little louder.
Okay. All right. Since episode 2, we've got Tom Heaney. According to the campaign hexagon system, the big hex is 5 miles, and the smaller hexes are 0.2 miles. Look on page 4 under Triumphant Grand Tactical. I remember reading something that the Greyhawk map has 30-mile hexes.
Now that I'm digging for it, I'm not finding it. Where is it? Okay. He's saying look on page 4 of this. I'm not going to do it right now, but yeah, thanks, man. That's where I heard that from. Mm-hmm. So we've already talked about it, but if this is a 5-mile hex, that's cool, but that means that what we thought was a pond is actually... That's like a 2-mile lake.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference. I think we're gonna stick to our 3-mile hexes, and we're gonna make this fit. Yes or no, Ethan?
I don't know. I think we'll make it fit. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we're not gonna figure it out right now. We're gonna keep rolling because we've spent a lot of time. Talking about it and doing it, and we just want to get into our characters, and we want to get exploring and get playing, get into the dungeon, get into the wilderness. But we can't do that while we're struggling to figure out why a building would be 700 yards long. I'm sure he's right. I'm not doubting him, but that means that the buildings on all the maps in that book are ridiculously big.
Yeah, and the roads are crazy wide.
This road is 150 yards wide. If this is a 5-mile hex, this road is 150 yards wide.
So we're talking it's the length of a football field, but in width.
More.
Yeah. So that'd be quite a road. Not even the Romans built.
Hey, thank you so much, because I wouldn't have known that. Thank you. What's his name?
That was Tom Heaney.
Thanks, Tom. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have, I believe it's pronounced Kybers, or Kyb 3er. I'm going to say
Kyber. Looks like Kyber.
Kyber. I roll the village, then choose a map that more or less meets the specs that were rolled.
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it. We didn't do it the smart way.
Yeah.
We should have rolled and then picked a map that matches. Instead, we randomly picked a map and tried to force it to match. But in the end, we decided to stick with the map because I don't know why. We just decided to do that. But you're right. Yeah, I think your method is much smarter than ours. We're stumbling through this.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're figuring it out as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're exploring D&D.
But it's fun, and we're learning about the game, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're back.
We are back. We think we're back. We hope we're back. So we just filmed 20 or 30 minutes of stuff recorded and then realized the camera wasn't going.
Yeah.
We went through comments and we started talking about rules and character creation and realized the camera wasn't going.
Fun times. I mean, it stopped like halfway through our recording. We were 35 minutes in when it stopped. So we've got those 35 minutes of footage that you guys have already watched by this point in the video.
It annoyed me. So we did shots and then I drank 3 more beers. Oh, wait, you talk and I have to go get another beer.
Okay. Yeah, also, in this part of the video, we have switched the setup. So we are no longer recording on a cell phone. We are now using a webcam that is hooked up to my laptop. So the video quality should be a bit better. Hopefully the sound quality is also better. Yeah, and we've got kind of a wider shot now.
So that's why it looks different. Wait.
Hard crack.
That's a good sound.
Yeah, that's good. All right.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
We were doing comments, responding to comments, and we did video, episode 1, episode 2, and now episode 3.
All right, episode 3.
Since the last time we recorded.
Yes, which to you guys is
this came out on Thursday the 1st. The episode 3 did.
Yes.
So we're just going back that far.
Yeah. Okay. So, first comment was from Grey Army Gaming. They said, "Excellent. This is such a fun idea. I'm going to go back to the beginning and watch all the episodes again. Smiley face, thumbs up. Thank you very much, Grey Army."
Thank you, dude. Hey, we didn't talk about this the first time we recorded this. I'm so annoyed. I'm trying to get over it. The alcohol isn't helping. Okay. But we had a huge spike in viewers on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Friday the 2nd, the day after episode 3 released.
Yes.
Like suddenly we got hundreds of viewers, and I don't know why. And I've been wondering if somebody mentioned us or linked to us who has a ton of followers or something. All I do is I after the hours go by that it takes to upload the video and make the description and then publish it, I go into like 10 or 12 Discords and post a link, and that's the only advertising I do. But for some reason, this past Friday, we got hundreds of views, and we don't know why. Anyway, thanks Grey Army Gaming for watching.
Yeah, thank you. Next is by BX Disciple. This is a great series. Looking forward to the great adventures.
Thank you.
Yeah. Michael Gross says, "Terrific stuff. Thanks for the FGG feedback, but more so for the gaming inspiration and laughs. I look forward to your next one to see how the game's region turns out."
Right.
Yeah,
and the feedback, not meant to be salty, nothing but love there. I just want to search their website by author, and I realized, like, in order for them, they have so many things in their catalog, and I've told Michael this on Discord, but if they have so many things in their catalog, for them to go through the entire catalog and tag everything by author so that it's searchable is a huge task. But it would be nice. And best wishes, Mike. Hang in there, man. Don't hang in there. Game on. Hang in there. Sounds like something's wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong. Yeah. Okay. I didn't mean to sound like that way.
All right. Next is from Mike Dymart. Looking forward to see what you roll up. It was great to hear about young people playing old school D&D. Yeah. I really enjoy this game. I have a great time playing it, and it's always good to get new players in.
And we have our D&D hats on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Continue. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. And lastly, we have Mark CMG. Thanks for the video. You're starting to find ways to smooth things along. Keep having fun. We are definitely smoothing things along. We're kind of just working it out as we go.
Mark, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for all you do to fly the flag of a fun game and keep it alive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it?
That's all of them.
Okay. So while I was lamenting, this is our new word, lamenting. Lamentation.
The lamentations of your women. No, of someone's women.
While I was lamenting recording a whole bunch of stuff, it really bummed me out. And then realizing the camera wasn't going.
Well, at least I didn't screw up people's names on the second take, so that's
okay.
good. I did mess up. I don't remember if I messed up people's names on the first and second videos comments, but I definitely did mess up a few people's names just because I wasn't paying attention.
I thought of a better way to do this too, better than what we did the first time. But you said something about how you had an intro or something to
for the players character stuff that okay. Yes, so
we're gonna get into how we rolled up characters.
Yeah.
And our characters.
Yes, and we're also going to get into a few rules that people may or may not like. But my whole thing that I previously said on other recording is that
isn't it annoying?
Yeah, it is a little annoying.
Technology.
We may be using rules that you guys out there don't use or don't like to play with, but it's what we're going with and it's what we enjoy, and we're just trying to figure out a way to have a good time and enjoy the game. So yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit, knowing that when we get into character creation, then we're really getting into the rules of the game. And the internet, and we're posting this on the internet.
Yeah.
If it was just us sitting here, it would be no big deal. But we're posting it on the internet, and the internet can be funny about you're not playing it right. You're not, We're just having fun playing some D&D. So let's move on. Let's plow through. So what I'm gonna let you start showing your characters first.
Okay.
But I just want to explain how I started.
Go for it.
Several months ago, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a long time ago. I sat down with the idea of just rolling up a stable of characters, and I thought maybe I'll try to play a solo game because I still really want to play more than I am. You get to play Wednesday night.
I do. Very excited.
At the friendly local game store. But I won't be able to play till Monday or Tuesday next week. So I started rolling up a stable of characters. And I just sat down and started rolling sets of numbers. Attributes. Just 6 sets of numbers. Rolling. Rolling and writing down the numbers. My idea was that I would make one of each possible character type. Can you throw out your, do I have it?
This notebook?
Player's Handbook.
Oh, Player's Handbook.
Yeah, toss that up.
Yeah, here it is.
I wanted to make one of every possible character type. Like human, one of every possible character. Elf, one of every possible class, I should say. Gnome, one of every possible class, like etc. That's what I wanted to do. But all I did was I got through all of the humans and I said, that's enough. I don't need like every possible elf and gnome and halfling also, and I didn't want to make half-orcs. So I started. I'm not ready because I don't have the page open. Rolling just sets of number after... Oh, here we go. Number after number after number. Sets of numbers. 6 numbers. Just rolling with the holy dice. What?
Pause.
What happened?
I'm running low. We are back again.
We are having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So so annoying. So our camera stopped recording before, and then we started again, and then Ethan discovered that his laptop... we started again with my webcam and Ethan's laptop. Ethan decided that would be a better way to go. So that's why things look different. And then he discovered that his laptop was out of memory. So we're back.
Yes.
All right, so I rolled up a ton of numbers, sets of numbers, using method 1 in the Dungeon Master's Guide. And that is, let's talk about methods for rolling up characters. And the Dungeon Master's Guide gives 4 methods. Seriously, it's so annoying to have to keep stopping and restarting. Okay. Okay, I used method 1, which is basically you roll 46, drop the lowest, and you arrange them however you want to. And I created many sets of numbers for the attributes for our characters. For my characters. There's other methods in here, 3 other methods. There's also 1 or 2 other methods in... Did we talk about Unearthed Arcana before? No, we didn't.
No, that part cut.
In Unearthed Arcana, there's another book... so aggravating. There's another book that came out in 1985 that has more methods in it. They suck. I don't use them. They're overpowered. They're ridiculous. I've heard of people doing 2d6 plus 6. I don't like that because your minimum attribute, minimum is 12. No, it's 8.
It's not. Yeah.
If you do 2d6 plus 6, your minimum attribute becomes 8.
Instead of 3.
I think that's too powerful.
Uh-huh.
Well, with this method 1, your minimum is
3.
Probably 4. The chances of rolling 4 1s, you're assuming that 4 1s are going to get rolled. The chances of that...
It's low, but that is the lowest possible...
Okay, fine.
Whatever, okay.
Fine. I mean, the chances of rolling 4
I understand.
1s...
I get it.
Is like the chances of me becoming a fighter pilot.
Well, I mean, the chances of rolling 4 of any number are the same as rolling 4 1s. Rolling 4 6s, rolling 4 4s.
Okay.
It's the same odds.
But specifically 4 1s, that lowers the statistical challenge even lower.
Okay.
The chances of rolling 4 1s are almost impossible.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the realistic minimum score is of this, but if you roll 2d6 and add 6,
yeah,
then your then for 100%, every time your minimum score is 8, and that's too much of a boost. I don't like that. I mean, if you like that, have fun. There's people out there who do 3d6 down the line. Screw you if you wanted a cleric and you rolled, a 4.
You're kind of stuck with what you got.
Yeah, I don't like that. When I dungeon master this game, I do method 1.
Yeah.
Roll 46, drop the lowest, place them wherever you want. That way you have a chance of not 100% chance, but you have a chance of playing the character you want to play.
Yep.
Okay, now there are classes like Paladin, Bard, Monk, Ranger that are pretty hard to roll. even with 46 dropped the lowest in this game. I rolled a whole bunch of numbers, and then I picked out the best numbers.
Yeah, I did a very similar thing.
This is where the internet says, "Oh, you're cheating, you're doing it wrong." I don't care.
These are all the numbers I rolled here, and then I circled the ones I was going to use. Not all of these have been used, and my paladin that I made months ago.
I was going to say, so I wanted to keep rolling until I got a paladin. I think I had to roll 2 pages of numbers before I had a set that qualified.
Yeah.
And interestingly, and this was an interesting experiment because to get an 18, like this is an 18, this has an 18, this has. I didn't ever roll a set that had 2 18s. I did roll a couple of sets, I think, that had 2 17s. I never rolled all these sets of numbers. I never rolled a set that had 2 18s, and very few sets of numbers had an 18.
Yeah.
So I rolled tons of numbers until I was able to have enough sets of attributes that I could play. I could make one of every human character class, and I stopped there. But I did go to Dragon Magazine, and I did make some of the classes out of Dragon Magazine. Some of them are joke classes. There's like a politician. There's a jock. They printed these ridiculous joke classes in Dragon Magazine. The other classes that they printed, they specified that they're only intended to be NPCs.
Okay.
They didn't want them included in the game, except this book came along. And Ethan and I are both bored right now because we already talked all the way through this. This book came along in 1985. TSR was virtually bankrupt. They owed a lot of money to the bank. They didn't have enough cash to pay the bank. And so this book and another book were put out rapidly because they knew that AD&D hardbacks would sell and give them a bunch of cash and let them pay off their loans at the bank.
Yeah.
I did not make any characters out of this book because of lots of reasons. This book, this is, people call this 1.5, 1.5 edition.
Yeah.
There's some things in this book I use, some things in this book I don't use. Some people who play this game toss this book completely because it was a bunch of Dragon Magazine articles that were stuck together into a hardback because TSR was desperate for money. However, some of those Dragon Magazine articles are really cool. Like, for example, in the back is Roger Moore in Dragon Magazine made really, really good pantheons for all the demi-human classes. And they stuck them in here without the artwork. There was artwork in Dragon Magazine, really good artwork, but they stuck them in here without the artwork. And Gary Gygax liked them enough that he added these demi-human pantheons of deities to, he said, you should consider those all official for the Greyhawk setting.
Cool.
Yeah. But the classes that are in here suck for multiple reasons. The spells that are in here are okay. I didn't use them. Ethan didn't use them when he rolled up his characters. I'm okay. As a DM, I'm okay with the new spells in here. I'm not as familiar with them, but I'm not aware of anything that's game-breaking. There's 3 new classes in here, and there's a complete revision to the Ranger class. I didn't use it. I used the Player's Handbook for my Ranger. Okay?
DM's guide, but yeah.
Oh, it's here.
Yeah.
I used the Player's Handbook for my Ranger. I mean, this is when you get into this book, you get into stuff that people are going to argue about and should argue about, because there's a lot of stuff in here that's not good.
Yeah.
Here's what's not good. In the original game, it's 4 archetypes of classes and some subclasses of those archetypes.
Yeah.
And the combat tables, everything are arranged around those 4 archetypes. And then this book comes along and they add a 5th archetype for it doesn't make any sense. They introduce a Cavalier class that Gary wrote up in Dragon Magazine. But then in this book, instead of the Cavalier being a subclass of the fighter, they make it its own subclass, and then they take Paladin, which had been the subclass of the fighter, and they make it a subclass of the Cavalier. So now all of a sudden with this book, you've got 5 archetypes. I am not doing that. No way, no how. It makes no sense. Not doing it. And the Cavalier class, as written in here, is broken. It allows you to apply experience points to raise your attribute scores. So
That is broken.
it is obviously broken, but it's in here. I don't use it. Some people out there use it and they love it. Oh, the Cavalier's great, and I like to play it. I'm not doing it. The Paladin class, as far as I'm concerned, is a subclass. It's a holy warrior, a holy knight. As far as I'm concerned, it's a subclass of the fighter. I'm not going beyond 4 archetypes. The 3rd archetype, the thief, came along in the Greyhawk supplement of original D&D. It was developed by some players at a game store playing original D&D in California called Arrow Hobbies. And one of the guys was playing a fighter, but he wanted to try to pick locks because he kept running into dungeon doors that were locked, and he kept running into chests of treasure that were locked. He wanted to be able to pick locks. And he wanted to be able to be sneaky and hide in shadows, and he wanted to be able to climb walls. Those rules didn't exist in the game at the time, and so his dungeon master created this system where every time he leveled up, he would gain one of those skills. 100%. Originally, the original thief class was you would just gain 100% probability of success. So say you went to 2nd class, you would become proficient in lock picking, and every single lock you would be able to automatically pick. And then, I don't know, third level, every single time you tried to hide in the shadows, you would be successful. You didn't have percent in this game. There's percentage chances for thief skills, but Gary changed that when he put it into D&D. And that's where the 4th archetype, the thief, comes from. And it has... Okay, so there is a class in here I'm okay with. I didn't create one. It's a thief acrobat. It's an acrobat. It's a subclass of thief, where you get to like 4th or 5th level, and then instead of gaining thief skills, you become better at tightrope walking and pole vaulting and acrobatic skills. So you give up, you stop being able to detect traps, and you start being able to be a good burglar. I'm okay with that. It doesn't break anything in the game, but I didn't make one.
Yeah.
And also, they changed the way that Ranger skills work. The Ranger class, they changed the way that Ranger class works in this book. I stuck to the original. I don't think it's bad what's in here for the Ranger class. I just stuck to the original. Okay?
Cool.
And then they also did an updated monk in Dragon Magazine that I like, that I think is much better. And actually, at some point, Gary Gygax said this is a better version of the monk. But what I did was I created an original monk. You can't stop yawning.
It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, by the way, for everybody who doesn't know what time it is here.
I don't know if we're going to get through this.
Kind of 2:30 or something.
You can't stop yawning.
We'll get through it. Let's do it.
Can you get through this?
Yeah, I can get through it.
All right. I won't give you a beer because then you'll fall asleep on me. Okay.
That's energy.
All right. That's what I did to make my characters. What did you do, Ethan?
Okay. So I did a very similar thing. I rolled up, except, well, I don't know where the sheet of paper where I rolled up my paladin is, or rolled out his stats.
Whatever. Who cares?
But yeah, these are a bunch of stats I rolled up. I've only used 2 of them so far. The cleric, this one, and this one I used for a magic user. But I just rolled up 11 stats, and I chose the ones that I liked, and I'll get to making the rest of the characters later.
Yeah. Whatever. I had to roll 2 pages of stats before I could get a paladin.
Yeah. Like I said, I've got paladin, good stuff. I have a human magic user and a dwarf cleric. So yeah, that's what I've got so far.
All right. So let's.
Oh, and I used everything out of these 2 primarily, and I don't think we talked about this yet.
We did, but it didn't record.
Yeah, it didn't record.
Oh my gosh.
So I used some things out of this OSRIC Player's Guide. Super useful for weight, encumbrance, that sort of thing. It lists more stuff than the Player's Guide does. Weights for those things, and it also has more equipment in here. But you do have to be careful because some of the prices are different, and a couple other things. There's one or two names of things that are essentially the same thing, but they just changed the name. So
it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
They changed the name because of copyright.
No, I get it. I'm just saying. Slightly different, but very close and pretty easy to work with. So I used this for a few things. But
I also used this, I didn't mention, for the height and weight tables. Okay. This is difficult, folks, because we've already done all of this once tonight. I used this for the height and weight tables for the characters because I don't love the height and weight tables for humans in this. And I think that they were slightly corrected in here. The Dungeon Master's Guide says that players should never look at the Dungeon Master's Guide. The problem is you have to look at the Dungeon Master's Guide to read the Player's Handbook. So if you're playing rules as written and you don't let your players look at the Dungeon Master's Guide, good for you, but they don't know what their secondary skills are. They don't know what their ages are and what that does to their characters. They don't know. There's information. There's errata in here for the spells that are in here. There's errata in here for the classes that are in here because this came out a year after this came out. I don't think you can create a character as a player without using the Dungeon Master's Guide because you need height and weight in order to do unarmed combat, for example. Oh, if you're doing encumbrance, the weights of items are in the back of the Dungeon Master's Guide. They're not in the Player's Handbook. So if you're trying to figure out your encumbrance and your movement as a player, you can't do it without the Dungeon Master's Guide. Moving on. I used the height and weight table in here because the height and weight table in here returns strange results for humans. I didn't do a deep dive on the demi-humans because I've made so many characters. I don't need any demi-humans. I've got, I don't know, I think I've got like 11 characters I made, just human, different classes. So it's possible using the height and weight chart charts on the Dungeon Master's Guide to randomly roll somebody who's really tall and has an 18 strength but is like 100 pounds. And that doesn't make sense. And the minute that I see something in a table that doesn't make sense, I get turned off.
Yeah.
But this makes more sense. Statistically, height and weight are better in here, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I use this for height and weight. And we also use this, I think you mentioned, for encumbrance for weights of items, because the Dungeon Master's Guide in the back has some information about the weights of some items, but OSRIC fills out all the blank spaces.
Yeah.
And talking about encumbrance, AD&D uses two different versions of encumbrance. So for the folks that say, I play rules as written, ask them how they do encumbrance, and ask them how they do initiative, and ask them how they do illusionist spells, and on and on and on and on and on, because you can't really play rules as written because the rules contradict. So there are two different versions of encumbrance in this game system. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the rules contradicting. I love this. That's why I'm playing it.
We're providing options for DMs to play what they
I guess.
do, I guess.
I guess, but yes.
But yeah.
Correct. Okay. There's one system of encumbrance that just goes by what armor you're wearing. So if you're wearing plate mail, you take a penalty to how fast you can move. If you're wearing no armor, you don't take a penalty to how fast you can move. Mm-hmm. And versions in between. But then there's another version in here where you add up all your weight. And depending on your strength, that's how much weight you can carry, and your strength gives you bonuses to how much weight you can carry, and you add up all your weight. So I use a combination of both. So if you are wearing really heavy armor, but you're not carrying anything else, you're still going to move at that movement rate of really heavy armor. And if you are wearing no armor, but you are loaded down with tons of stuff, you're going to move at that movement rate that you would move at, because you're going to move slower because you're carrying tons of stuff, even though you're not wearing any armor. I use a combination of both.
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, your maximum movement rate depends on your armor and how much stuff you're carrying.
Yeah, I think this has examples of it, I believe. Yeah.
Well, you're being on camera. You're not on camera.
Just saying.
Oh,
yeah,
character sheet off the internet. I don't know where I got it. Probably Dragon's Foot. Does it say here? Kenny Marshall, copyright 2008, permission granted to photocopy. Thank you, Kenny. There's another good. This is not the official character sheet, but I like it. The only thing that's missing off of here is unarmed combat.
Yeah.
I probably got this on Dragon's Foot, the website. I'm not sure.
I did it better on this character.
Okay.
But what I was pointing out was the way I did encumbrance. I did it the way you're talking, where I went and found the encumbrance for my armor, and then I combined it with the encumbrance from everything I'm carrying, which I have listed here with the weight, all added up, and then all of my treasure over here with the weight and the movement rates, and added it all up, gave me a movement rate, put that right there. So I got that. That's how I.
And so this character sheet shows you, if you as you add or take away things from your equipment, you need to change the weights, add them all up, so you know what your current weight of stuff you're carrying is. And then this shows you what that does to your movement rate, as long as you are keeping track of how much weight you're carrying. This is pretty crunchy, but I'm going to do it this way.
Yeah.
Okay? Or the easy way is just to say, well, what armor are you wearing? That's your movement rate. And forget. The last time I ran an AD&D campaign, I didn't want to. I was doing it online, and I didn't want to meticulously have to keep track of what everybody was carrying.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if my players would do it.
I don't know.
So I was just doing it kind of abstractly. I just told my players, look, if you try to pick up 400 arrows, it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
If you try to carry around 200 pounds of coins, it's not going to work. Or if it works, you're barely going to be moving. Like, I did it kind of abstractly. If I was sitting at a table with people, I would probably do it the same way, because I'm not going to, as a DM, constantly check and see, okay, how many rations is he carrying? Oh, that adds another pound, so he's in this movement bracket. Like, you have to trust your players to do that. You can't really trust your players to do that as a DM. Mm-hmm. Even if they're honest, they're going to make mistakes. So I did it kind of abstractly. But because this is just you and I, we can get into the nitty-gritty of every coin weight. And in AD&D, or D&D in general, the weights goes by coin weights. 10 coins equals 1 pound.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're carrying 1,000 coins on your character sheet, your character sheet says I'm carrying 1,000 coins. That means 100 pounds of just coins.
Yes. I will mention, I'm pretty sure, with this, I'm pretty sure I used the OSRIC weight, which I believe is in pounds, not coins.
Right,
so,
but it's still the same
thing.
I
know, but I'm saying I listed out all my weight in pounds.
Yes, so did I.
Not in coins, except for...
So did I.
Yeah, except for the weight down here for my treasure, which I, on the sheet, converted to pounds. So
all of our character sheets are using pounds, not coin weight. That's important. Somebody might decide to use coin weight, but you're just blowing up the numbers that you have to use by 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the game is not consistent. Sometimes it gives you coin weight, sometimes it gives you pounds.
Yeah.
It's not consistent. So 10 coins, if it gives you coin weight, 10 coins is 1 pound.
Yep.
And our character sheets were using pounds.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. Okay. Where do we go from there? Do you want to go through what your characters are?
Sure. Okay. So I've got a human paladin. I think paladins can only be human.
Yeah.
His name.
Let's give me your notebook. I'm gonna start writing. My pencil's missing.
It's right there.
All right. I found another one. Doesn't matter. Okay. You've got a paladin.
All right. Yeah, I got a paladin. There are a couple things I have to change, like the age. We went over that previously, but that's okay.
Why do you have to change that?
Because I rolled it randomly with the chart in OSRIC, I believe, and it popped out 18. And we talked about earlier we were gonna.
So the Dungeon Master's Guide. Yeah, this is hard for us because we've already done this. And we're doing it for a second time, just for the internet. And that's not really why we're here. We're just trying to get a solo campaign going, so it's annoying to us. Okay. The Dungeon Master's Guide has a section on character age. And you're supposed to roll randomly. I don't do that. I don't ask my players to do that when I'm running. Forget solo playing. When I'm the DM and I'm running AD&D, I do not tell my players, you have to roll your age randomly.
Yeah.
You might end up with like a 50-year-old starting character that sucks as a human. Or you might end up with an elderly or middle-aged character.
Yeah.
No. I tell my players, you choose your starting age, and I let them choose. And I did the same thing myself, and you did the same thing.
I will do the same thing.
I'm telling you to do the same thing.
Yeah, on I think all my characters, I rolled my age randomly.
So For Paladin, if you go here, it tells you a Paladin is starting Paladin is age 17 plus 1d4. That means that the minimum age for a Paladin, a human Paladin, this is the human table. I have to keep specifying that because I'm just thinking about humans.
Yeah.
The elves, the dwarves, the halflings, they all live different lifespans and they're different. I'm just thinking of humans. So a Paladin... the minimum age, according to the rules for a Paladin, is 18.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I think the rules make sense.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to become a holy knight at the age of 14 or 15 or 16. Even in the Middle Ages, when people were getting married at 14, 15, and 16, I don't think you're going to... Society is not going to consider you to be a Paladin at that age. Mm-hmm. So, and the game agrees, and the game... Well, I agree with the game, I should say. So 18 is the minimum age for a Paladin. And as a player, you want to pick the minimum age because your human is going to start getting old, and age makes a difference in the game. You gain and lose attributes based on your age. Yeah. If you're young, you have a lower wisdom. If you're old, you have a higher wisdom. If you're young, you have a higher strength. If you're old, you have a lower strength. It makes sense.
Yeah. Like, for example, with this character, a dwarf, I randomly rolled 269 years old, which on this chart is in the old bracket for dwarves. So he's an old dwarf. So...
Well, you can stick with that if you want.
I'm not going to.
I'm telling you, you look at your class for dwarf, and you can be the minimum.
Yeah, I'm gonna redo that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's going to change your attributes.
Yeah, I didn't realize any of the age.
Oh yeah. If you're a young adult, you lose 1 point of wisdom and you add 1 point of constitution. Yeah. And that makes sense. Yeah. If you're mature, you add a point of strength and you add a point of wisdom. That makes sense. And then so on and so on. Yeah. By the time you get to venerable, that's the oldest. Subtract 1 point of strength, 1 point of dexterity, 1 point of constitution, add and a point of intelligence and a point of wisdom. I don't know about the intelligence part, but it makes sense. I am not as strong now as I was when I was 20. I would like to pretend I am. I'm tougher than I was, but I'm not as strong. And the game reflects that. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about your paladin. Yeah, underneath the book. Oh, he's here? Yes. Okay. Yeah. What? Okay, go on. Okay. Yeah. So, I didn't name all my characters, but I named him Edmund Tanner. Nickname Eddie. Edmund. I'm just using first names. Okay. Edmund. Yeah. Here's how I'm gonna stop you and talk about my characters. Yeah. When I make a character, I don't use the last name. Okay. Here's why. Yeah. In the Middle Ages, in a medieval society, and I'm not... Continue. I'm not mocking you. I think I know what you're going to say, but continue. In a medieval society, people don't have last names. Okay. You're either known by your profession or you're known by who your father is. That's why I put Tanner. The only people in a medieval society. Oh, you put Tanner. That's why I put Tanner specifically. Because that's your secondary skill. That was my idea behind it, was that like his family trade is tannery. And did you roll secondary skills? No, I did not roll secondary skills. I picked. Okay. Should I have rolled? No. Okay. Okay, we'll get back to that. But hold on. I'm writing. He's a paladin. What's his name? Edmund. Yeah. But I did specifically choose the last name Tanner because in my headcanon of this character, his family's professional. So in AD&D, you don't write 15 pages of backstory. Yeah. There's a chart in the Dungeonmastersguide, by the way, and the rules say you're not allowed to look in here if you're a player. Nonsense. There's a list of, they are called secondary skills. And this is very abstract. And you're supposed to just roll randomly. When I run, I tell my players, pick whatever you want. Pick one, whatever you want.
Yeah.
I did roll for my characters. I wanted them to be random on their secondary skills just to see what would come up. I did pick randomly for my characters. And there, what this is, I cannot speak. This is your background.
Yeah.
This is your family, where you came from in a medieval society. So the options are like mason, miner, limner, leatherworker, jeweler, on and on and on. Fisher, bowyer, armorer, trader, trapper, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you know how to do all those things. That means that you grew up in a family that does those things. And so you know about that profession because you grew up around that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? It doesn't mean you're a professional trapper. Mm-hmm. It means your dad was a professional trapper.
Yeah.
And you used to go out and help your dad.
You've picked up a few skills to trade because you've just been around it your whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, and this is abstract. There are no rules in the game beyond this that say it's abstract.
Yeah.
So it's left for the DM to say, okay, your father was a jeweler, so you can probably guess how much that jewelry is worth.
Yeah.
Or your father was a fisherman, so you can probably go out and catch some fish. It's abstract.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled randomly. You picked. I tell my players they can pick. That's totally cool.
Okay.
The game says you're supposed to roll randomly, but I tell my players they can pick.
Yeah.
I rolled randomly for my characters. Okay, go on. So you didn't pick a last name. You're calling him Edmund Tanner because the secondary skill is Tanner.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the idea behind it, was that exactly what you were saying. Yeah,
in a medieval society, you're Edmund the Tanner, Edmund the Thatcher, Edmund the Cooper, the Chandler. You don't have a last name, you have a profession. If you have a last name, it's because you come from a noble house. And none of our characters are coming from a noble house.
Yeah.
That's another issue that I have with... That's another issue that I and many other people have with this book, is it lets you roll to see if you start off as a noble or a rich or a well, Yeah. If you start off the son of a king, forget that. If you want to be a king, play the game and make yourself a king. That's my attitude. Starting the game as a king, for a one shot, great, but a campaign, what we're doing, no. We're starting off as people who should be pushing a plow, should be shearing sheep, should be milking cows, but they said, no, I don't want to do this. I'm going to get a rusty weapon, and I'm going to go out and adventure in the world.
Yeah.
That's what we're playing. That's D&D. We're playing characters that are adventurers, that are not happy with just cutting hay.
Yeah.
They're a little bit crazy. They're willing to go do something daring in order to try to make a better life for themselves. In one way or another. Like a magic user, this is somebody who is going to say, okay, well, I don't want to learn how to be a tanner for my father. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to that kooky sorcerer in town, and I'm going to ask him to teach me some magic.
Yeah.
Right? And then your kooky sorcerer eventually says, okay, you've learned all I can teach you right now. Go out in the world and go find your own magic.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. You're paladin. Did you pick a deity?
I didn't. So I did not pick deities for any of my characters yet, and that is important for paladin and this cleric here, specifically those two. But I didn't get to that yet. I also did not get to spells for my magic user or my paladin. I believe I did. Oh, I did choose spells for my paladin. Not paladin. my cleric. But
okay, we got to talk about that. But go on. Go on.
Okay. But yeah, I filled out everything here according to mostly these books and some OSRIC. And yeah, we're not doing alignment languages, right?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about it. That's part of the game. In the game, starting characters get an alignment language based on their alignment.
Yeah.
The idea originally behind that was that like Latin was the language of the Catholic Church, and Greek was the language of the Orthodox Church, and Hebrew was the language of the Jewish people, and blah, blah, blah. Like certain languages are certain religions, certain philosophies. So the game includes alignment languages. I have never, ever, ever played with a DM. Well, actually I have now.
We've played with one.
Up until recently, I've never played with a DM that uses alignment languages.
Yeah.
Because it's just, you got 9 alignments. So, okay, I speak lawful neutral. What does that mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like when you think about what does that mean? Okay, well, let's go have a conversation in chaotic neutral.
Yeah, I mean, it would make more sense to have religious-based languages,
Right, and
based on their deity.
And the Greyhawk campaign has built-in languages in the world. The World of Greyhawk setting has built-in languages based on the cultures and the religions in the world.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with that. We're not doing alignment languages. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So he is. He speaks common. I did roll my height and weight based on the stuff in this, so it's fine. I'm probably gonna leave it, but we'll see. He is 6'4" and 186 pounds. So, yeah. I did all of his encumbrance, everything there, and I did all of his equipment. And that's pretty much all to say about this character.
You don't have any starting spells, do you?
Paladins I don't think get it until 3rd or 4th level.
Okay, you were mentioning your cleric, so we need to talk about this. So, magic users are limited in their magic in that they have to actually find a spell written down in order to use it.
Yeah.
Clerics are different. There's 2 kinds of magic in this game.
Yeah.
There's arcane magic and there's divine magic.
Yeah.
Clerics get their magic from their deity.
Mm-hmm.
They're holy or they're unholy. Either way, they get their magic from their deity. They pray for their deity to give them the power to do that thing. I don't even want to say cast that spell.
Yeah.
So say turn undead. If you that's not a spell in the game.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a skill. Bad example. Let's say healing.
There's examples on the back here.
Cure light wounds.
Yeah, cure light wounds.
Okay. So if you want to cure somebody's wounds, as a cleric, you have to be pious and you have to pray to your deity to give that to you.
Yeah.
A magic user, if he wants to cast a light spell or any spell, he has to have it written down. He has to have the material components. He has to be able to do there's verbal, somatic, which means movement, and material components, which means objects that you use to make your spell.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Your cleric doesn't have to choose spells. Your cleric just has to pray and has a certain number of spells per level that he can cast. Okay? The assumption is that your cleric, he's a priest, a rabbi, an imam. He's somebody who has read all the holy books.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
He doesn't have to, carry a spell book.
Okay. So if there's, for instance, a spell that you want to cast, as long as that spell is available to your level, you can pray
as long
to
as
your
you've
deity.
prepared it. As
Okay,
long as
so
you
you
spent
have-
the time and you've prepared it, you've prayed to your deity, you've asked, please give me.
But you can
Do you have to prepare it?
Okay, so but when you're preparing your spells, you can prepare any of the spells available.
If you're a
to you.
first level cleric and you get one spell or whatever it is,
Yeah. I think I wrote
you
it
go
down.
through the list of cleric spells and you decide what spell
3
you want to prepare.
3
Okay.
for first level.
And then I believe it's the same for all spellcasters. This is going to be so boring for other people to watch because we're getting into nitty gritty details. But oh well, the hell with it. Heck with it.
Do you want?
No,
Okay.
but the S word that you put at the very beginning.
Yeah, I'll take care of that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes per spell level to prepare a spell for casters. Okay. So you need to be well rested or you can't prepare a spell.
Okay.
And for a magic user, it's a matter of studying.
Yeah.
For a cleric, it's a matter of praying
Yeah.
and asking and beseeching. Okay?
Okay.
All right. 15 minutes per spell level. So you get up in the morning and you want to learn a first level spell.
You know, 15 minutes.
You're gonna have to take 15 minutes if you're a cleric praying, if you're a magic user reading your book, your whatever.
Okay.
Okay. Where were we?
I think we were just talking about the spells.
Let's go on about spells because there's another home rule I use. And again, if anyone says I play rules as written, ask them what they do with material components. Because every spell has a material component, not every spell, many of them. When I'm running D&D and somebody says, I'm going to cast this spell, and I'm the DM, I don't say, you can't do it because you don't have a pigeon feather on your character sheet. Mm-hmm. Or you can't do it because you don't have a pinch of salt written down in your inventory. I don't do that. I abstract it. Mm-hmm. And I charge players for those material components when they level up. So if you go from first to second level, I'm going to charge you 100 gold pieces just for material components. That just sort of encompasses what that means in the game. I'm not taking out material components.
Yeah.
The idea of it is still there.
Just making it more abstract.
It's totally abstract. So when there's downtime happening, everybody's camping. The spellcasters are out looking for that 4-leaf clover. They're at the campfire gathering that pinch of charcoal, whatever the heck it is. I don't get into the nitty gritty of how many pockets do you have and do you have a daisy blossom to cast that spell? That's as a DM, it is impossible to run with that level of detail. I don't do it, but I do like the idea of it, so I run it abstractly. Okay. All right. So material components, we're hand waving, sort of. They exist, but we're not getting into the nitty gritty details of them. Okay, go on.
Okay. That's pretty much everything with my cleric here.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Your cleric. You need to pick a deity, and let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
Okay? Cleric spells go up to 7th level, and this is by the book.
Yeah.
To get a 7th level spell, you have to worship a greater god. Only greater gods can bestow a 7th level spell. To get a 6th level spell, you have to worship at least a lesser god. Only lesser gods can bestow a 6th level spell. And if you worship a demigod, they can only bestow on their clerics 5th level spells. They can't bestow, they're not powerful enough to give you the power, the holy power, to cast a 6th or 7th level spell. Okay.
Okay.
So keep that in mind.
Okay.
Okay. Now my cleric did not pick a greater god, so he's never going to be able to cast a 7th level spell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And I forget the details, but I think, and it's in the rules. But I think like first, second, third level spells are not granted directly from your deity. They don't have time to deal with you.
Yeah.
They come from one of your deity's minions up in the outer planes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind when you're picking a deity. Also, did you pick an alignment? Neutral good.
Yes, neutral good.
So you're going to want to pick a deity that lines up with that.
Yeah, I one of the reasons I chose that is because some rules about the paladin where you cannot adventure with anybody who is not good.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out when we get to it.
Yeah.
Because we got characters that aren't good.
That is true.
We're going to figure that out.
Yeah.
It says specifically good or...
Yeah, I mean, my magic user is not good. My magic user is neutral. But yeah, it says specifically good. It says you can go on like one-time outings with people who are neutral, but it has to be for the purpose of like furthering...
Okay.
Good.
So we can roll out probably with a paladin and some neutral characters. Because I kept all of my characters, alignment-wise, as close to neutral as possible.
Yeah.
That's what I chose to do.
Yeah.
But that determines... Okay, another thing I do when I run AD&D, I tell my players... I ask them to pick a deity for the characters, no matter what class they are. Mm-hmm. You have to if you're a cleric or a paladin. You have to, because you have to know who you're praying to.
Yeah.
You have to. But does a fighter have to have a deity? Not really. There's no game rule for it. I want to know. Conan worshipped Crom. It's part of his personality.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I want to know who your fighter prays to.
Yeah.
Because as a DM, it tells me what your character's like. It tells you what your character's like.
Yeah.
So all of my characters have deities, even if they're not clerics.
Yeah. Also, there's that rule. I don't know if we're playing with this rule, but you talked about it a couple weeks ago, I think, where if you are dead, you have a chance that your deity will resurrect you.
Yeah, so that's in...
Like, it's like a 1% chance or something, but there is a chance. It's good to know what your deity is.
I don't remember if that's in DMG or in here, but there's something called divine intervention.
Yeah, that's right.
You can roll, you get a 1% chance that if you're about to die,
yeah.
If you ask for heavenly help or... hellish help if you're evil.
Yeah.
There's a 1% chance that your deity, and you have to say, I'm going to try for divine intervention. I'm going to pray for salvation.
Yeah.
I'm dying. I'm going to pray. If you don't say that, forget it. As far as I'm concerned, there's a 1% chance your deity will actually show up and help, and will actually show up. And then there's rules for what the deity will do.
Yeah.
There's a chance the deity will be upset that you've disturbed him or her.
Oh.
And the results won't be good.
Mm.
So there's a minuscule chance if you're dying and you ask for divine intervention in the rules that your deity will show up and save you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Sorry. That is everything really about my cleric. The last character that I have started on... Oh, wait.
What's your cleric's name?
Cleric's name is Kazam. Khazam.
We don't know who he worships yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. One more thing.
Yeah.
All right. So when we're figuring out who your deity worships, how do we do that? There's lots of ways. In the Greyhawk setting, so some people will use this, but this has like real world mythology pantheons in it that I don't necessarily use.
Okay.
I do use the Cthulhu mythos because they used it in the original campaign.
Okay.
It's not in the published campaign.
Yeah.
They used it in the original campaign as like these hidden cults. Like in the original city of Greyhawk, there was a tunnel that led to the castle Greyhawk, and halfway there was like an underground temple where cultists were worshiping the Cthulhu mythos.
Okay.
The elder gods. And also Rob Kuntz created some stuff for the Greyhawk setting that involves the elder gods. So I use them, but I use them very underground. Like nobody, like our characters don't know about them.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing they used in the original campaign is the Norse pantheon. Thor, Odin, Freya.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of use that in Greyhawk, but I use it as a dead religion.
Okay.
So there might be times when I'm running Greyhawk, there might be times when you might run into something ancient that refers to the Norse pantheon, but it's largely a dead religion.
Okay.
But they did use the Norse pantheon in the original Greyhawk campaign. Not in the published one, the original one. So, and then there's the demi-human deities in here. That's about all I use out of here. For the rest of the deities, and this is not inclusive, after this was done, so there's lists of deities in here. These are the two books that came in 1983, the World of Greyhawk setting. So in 1980, they published this folio that had just this book and the map. And then in 1983, they did a box set, and the box set added this book.
Yep.
It's a little bit painful because the deities that are in here have some information in this book and some information in this book. It's so painful. Like if you want to know their alignment and what they're the god of, you look in here. But if you want to know their stats, their like how many hit points they have, you look in here. And they don't always match. They're separated by 3 years, so somebody could be like the god of light and harvesting in this book, and in this book they're the god of light and harvesting and picking your nose. They don't exactly match up. But there is a list in here after the section. Here we go. Deities of the World of Greyhawk. Greater gods, lesser gods, demigods. Okay? And in this book, they expanded. They've got quasi-deities, which are lower than demigods. They're not mortal, but they're not demigods.
Okay.
And it also shows what culture they're from.
Yeah.
So if you worship a Flan god, then you're probably from a Flan culture. And there's an Iridian and okay. So it helps to build out your character's place in the world by picking a deity. If you're picking a Sewell deity, then it's possible you're Iridian, but you worship a Sewell deity. That's possible. But it's probable that you are of Sewell descent, of Sewell culture. Okay?
Yeah.
So it just helps flesh out your character and make them a part of this world.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason why I pick deities for all the characters.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but wait, there's more. Len Lakofka created an entire pantheon that Gary Gygax approved in Dragon Magazine. It's not in here. Okay. Plus, there's more stuff that came out in adventure modules. There's stuff that we found out about in the Oath Journal. That there's an early Oath Journal where Paul Stromberg interviewed Gary Gygax and asked him some outstanding questions about the deities and Greyhawk. And Gary actually introduces a new deity, a fallen deity that we never knew about before, and he clarifies some of the things that weren't understood. There's a guy named David Prada. He goes online by DM Prada, and he's created tons of great AD&D things for people to use. I don't know how to. I'm not speaking clearly. We're not going to finish this. We're going to pause and have another break, and then we'll finish it another time. But I'm going to keep going. Okay. For right now.
Yeah, keep going.
So we're not going to finish this all in one session. So
we're already going to be at about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I don't care about the time. Okay. I'm just like, it's so much. Okay. There's so much when we're talking about characters and it's important to me.
Yeah.
Because it's a game of the imagination. I want to imagine my characters in this world.
Yeah.
So it's important to me. But you're falling asleep, and I'm annoyed that we've had 2 technical difficulties. All right, anyway, David Prada, he now creates things for Hyperborea. He writes for Northwind Adventures, Jeff Talanian's company, for Hyperborea now. But he created this thing that's posted online on the Knights and Knaves Alehouse website. They host it.
Okay.
It's an AD&D forum. And it's called the Deity Base. And it's where several years ago he went through all the sources and he compiled all the known deities for the world of Greyhawk.
Cool.
It's fantastic. It's not perfect. Like, he adds some deities that were never in the world of Greyhawk.
Mm-hmm.
And he one that I can think of. And he leaves some out that we know about today, but he didn't know about at the time. Like, Dalt is a Sul deity of portals and doorways and gates.
Mm-hmm.
It's missing from the deity base. Nevertheless, the deity base is an awesome resource, so I'm going to show that to you for when you select your deities.
Cool. Okay.
There's a caveat. It's not perfect. So you might pick something and think something, and I'm going to say, no, and here's why.
Okay.
But it's helpful. It's a very, very helpful resource. This also introduced for the first time the idea that they went crazy with in 2nd edition. Not crazy, but they ran with an idea in 2nd edition that was introduced here as far as I know. And the idea is that depending on your deity, if you're a cleric, you have different abilities and different spells, specifically depending on who you worship. That first came about here in the 83 box set. And it'll say, like, clerics of this deity can do this and this. They get an extra spell, or if it's a fire deity, they get an extra fire spell, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? Are you following me?
Yes. In
2nd edition, they went whole hog on that, and they did specialty priests for every deity. And so you had, and they instead of calling them clerics, they called them priests, and they called them specialty priests because you would pick your cleric, your deity, and you would get a completely unique set of spells based on your deity. So if you're the god of cold, you're not going to, if you're a cleric of the god of cold, you're not even going to get to cast a fire spell.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
So, but that idea,
I get it,
was first seeded right here. Okay. I could talk about this all day. It's important to me because it really helps flesh out the setting. Mm-hmm. It's a game of the imagination. We're imagining our characters are, we've left the farm, we've left the tannery, we're going out into a dark, crazy world that we don't know, and we're exploring, and we're trying to make our way.
Yeah.
And that's the game. It's a game of the imagination.
Cool.
Okay. You got your cleric, your paladin, what else?
And a magic user who I have not come up with a name yet for. He is human, neutral alignment. I haven't done a whole lot. I haven't done any.
Yeah, he's not done. Okay.
Not at all. I mean, none of my characters are done. He is the least done.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I probably...
You haven't selected his equipment?
No.
Have you rolled his coin?
No,
okay.
I have not.
So so here's what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to go through, fix the ages, fix that will change your attributes, that will change your bonuses or penalties.
Yeah.
You need to do that.
Yeah.
You need to pick deities. You need to finish rolling your coin and your encumbrance and your equipment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll finish all this stuff off camera, but that's what I'm working with for right now. Those 3 characters.
Oh, there are rules in here.
Yeah. For
starting spells for a magic user. We can do that together.
Okay.
Okay. And I did for my magic user.
Okay.
I rolled to see what his spells would be, his starting spells would be.
Cool.
And there's a specific, I don't know where it's at. I'm not going to look for it right now. But there's a specific place. All magic users start with read magic plus an offensive, a defensive, and a generic spell. Mm-hmm. And there's tables to roll.
Okay.
And this book, of course, because where is it? This book, because it has more spells, has a more expanded table. I didn't use it.
Okay.
I'm fine with you using it or somebody using it. I didn't.
Okay.
I just stuck to the player's handbooks.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's your 3 characters.
Yes.
All right. We're not going to get to mine. We'll get to mine next time.
Okay.
And then I don't know. And then hopefully we can start adventuring.
That would.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sticking with us. Whatever. You're tired. I'm not in a good mood, so this is not a good time to play D&D when you're not in a good mood.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm forgetting something. Spells. Okay, we talked about that. Oh, another house rule. Might as well get it out of the way right now. Make the internet mad. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
In this game, there's a stat for magic users and illusionists called Chance to Know Spell.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it.
We've talked about it.
Yeah.
I don't use it.
Yep.
Here's why I don't use it. As a DM and as a player, I don't want to keep track forever which spells a magic user can't learn. Forever. Because the way the rules are, and you get bonuses or penalties based on your intelligence, your chance to know a spell. Every time you try to learn a new spell, you have to roll to see if you can learn that spell. I don't like the idea of a 10th level magic user can't learn a first level spell because 15 years ago, playing D&D, same character, he rolled badly and decided, and the dice 15 years ago, real life time, decided, nope, you can't learn that spell. It makes no sense for a 10th level magic user not to be able to learn a first level spell. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I think that was part of Gary's way of controlling the power level of magic users in the game. He was always very concerned with how magic users would become so powerful that they would unbalance the game. I can appreciate that. But if I roll that I can't learn sleep, 3 years from now when my character is 6th level, I've got to keep track of all these spells that I can't learn? Come on. And I'm 6th level, but I can't learn. Like it's right in front of me. I got the spell, Read Magic. I can cast Read Magic. I can read the spell. It's a 1st level spell. I'm 6th level, and I can't learn that spell. because of a roll of the dice.
Yep.
I don't like that rule. I throw it out. But if you're playing rules as written, you won't like what I just said. So play however you want to play. I don't use chance to know spell. I don't use that stat.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. It's too much to keep track of as a DM and as a player.
Yeah.
If I've got a player, he's got a magic user, and at some point he finds a scroll of whatever, burning hands, and I roll to see if he knows the spell, and we roll that he can't learn that spell. Then I got to remember that next week, and the week after that, 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 going forward for years maybe, if the campaign continues. We got to keep remembering that no matter how many times he finds a scroll of burning hands, he can't learn it because we rolled that. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's stop here.
Sure. Continue on with this video at a later date, or are we going to
I think it's too long. I think this is episode 4.
All right.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
So episode 5 will be the rest of going through our characters.
Yeah. Characters part 2.
And then hopefully episode 6 I want to roll. I want to leave town. I want to well, our characters, you finish your characters, and ideally what's happening? Ideally we start heading towards the dungeon and we start playing.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to play D&D.
I agree.
Where's the notebook that I just had in my hand? I wrote down 2 characters, and that was productive. Okay.